A setup is a pre-planned outcome. A pretty simple concept. But in chess, a setup is a cunning and dastardly thing that few players can muster. It requires establishing an end, then working back to assemble the path to it. From the insider's perspective, the setup is not a thing at all. It is an event that most likely has benefited that person in one way or another and was therefore welcomed. In reality, such things happen when the overall task is directed by a master. Not a master chess player, a master negotiator. Negotiations are not forward-moving events. They are predetermined outcomes that depend for their success on the intellect and experience and cunningness and dastardliness of a true master. You know, like the ones who call the process an art. Well, there once was a couple of dweebs who thought real hard and implanted their inert desire to control things, and came up with a process that let other people do the work they needed done for them, for free, with smiles on their faces, and that same pair of dweebs then proceeded to use that product against the very people who created it for them. They got caught doing that. But they had split up their little toy a few years earlier, in a vain attempt to leave the alphabet alone, while the engine took a dive. Well, there are those who plan things like this, who are perhaps even greater intellectually than the master negotiator, and those people did not miss that attempt. In fact, it became the goal. So when the engine sputters into confiscation, or destruction, the parent will not be living on. In fact, the contracts it signs are those of the replacement daddy, and the parent, and that will mean the end of the two, the end of the Lucasfilm licensed device and the stock. Did I mention the stock? It has risen rather nicely since that development. And then started to fall nice and steady and heading to worthless the next morning. Shouldn't have been so stupid to use a children's book to censor a federal appeals court,